Hello, I'm Sam.
I'm Dan.
And we are going to be taking you through our top 5 worst shows that Architects has ever played.
Yeah, I mean, we've played obviously a lot of shows. We've been around for we're getting on for 20 years. We've been touring for basically that entire time. So this was hard because there is actually a lot of potential candidates for this top 5, and it's hard to rank. This isn't a perfect top 5. No. Number 5 could probably be number 1, but yeah. we'll give you a rough idea. Number 5, should we go Vancouver Island?
Vancouver Island, yeah.
We played 3 shows on Vancouver Island. Now, you don't need to play 3 shows on Vancouver Island. You don't need to play 1, to be honest.
No one should.
You can play Vancouver, and if people on Vancouver Island want to go to the show, they can just get the ferry. And we had already played in Victoria and Nanaimo on Vancouver Island, and I think the Nanaimo probably had 30 people at the show. This show in Courtenay had 8 in. There were 8 payers. 8 for 5 bands.
When Sights and Sounds went on first, I remember looking around and the only people in the crowd were the bands that were on the tour. And I thought, well, hopefully it'll fill out by the time we get on. No, all that happened was we went on stage and Sights and Sounds were stood in the crowd. We
had done Magic Mushrooms the night before and had a pretty weird night, and then we had been given some edibles, and I had done my first ever kettlebell workout with the drummer of Misery Signals. I wasn't a fitness guy. I was like 21. I'd never even thought about working out, so my quad muscles had never worked. Took these edibles, and I thought that I had lost the use of my legs permanently because it was so painful to do anything. And the edibles hit, and I remember there was like accommodation above the venue. Yeah. I remember crawling on all 4s to the toilet to vomit.
I remember being so high and sharing a bed with Ali, being so high that every time I put my head back, it felt like my head was going to fall off. And Ali was lying in bed listening to music, and I couldn't find my headphones. And I thought if he just gave me 1 earplug, that it would pull me back, and he refused to give me it. So I've never forgiven him for that moment.
We were definitely at that stage of our career where we didn't realise that we could just say, no, we're not going to do that.
Number 4.
I think we should go Romford Bitter End.
My first show with Architects, and it was like a British pub. That's the best way to describe it. If you imagine a pub like from The Office.
Cheap beer,
complete shithole.
Cheap food, you can get, you know, a full English fried breakfast at 5 p.m.
There was a big screen behind us where they were playing the football, and I remember when we went on, they turned that off and people booed. And there was basically about 20 people there. Yeah. And it was just awful.
We played 3 songs, and then the power went, and that was the end of the set. Yeah. And they couldn't get the power back on. So that was Sam's first ever show. Sam got off stage, we got backstage, and Sam said, "I'm better than this." And we were like, who the fuck is this wanker singing for us now? You were right.
I was right. Number 3.
Let's go Copenhagen.
Copenhagen.
We have been booked to play Copenhagen twice. First time we played Copenhagen, we waited all day to play. We're on at midnight, okay? It's been a beautiful day. Beautiful day.
Gorgeous. Hot.
We're on not the main stage, we're on I think maybe the second stage, and it starts raining. So we go out, people are in raincoats, it's not a great mood, but it's a good crowd, it's a good sized crowd. A few songs in, the power goes. So from the rain. You'd think that they'd be prepared for the rain. They weren't in this instance. I'm sure it was just not an accident, you know. I'm not blaming anyone. Copenhagen can book us again. We left the stage, and then we get word from our crew, you can go back on, they fixed it. We start playing, I think we were playing These Colours Don't Run. We started playing These Colours Don't Run. Power goes. We left the stage, our crew said, they fixed it. So, okay, go back out. The crowd's dwindling now, people are losing patience.
Every time we leave the stage, 1,000 more people disappear.
We get about a minute through These Colours Don't Run again, power's gone. We leave the stage, come back, and there's now about 100 people left in the crowd. We play about a minute of These Colours Don't Run. Power goes again. We left the stage. We called it a day. We waited on site for 14 hours for this set.
Yeah. No performance.
That sounds bad. 5-6 years later, we're booked for Copenhagen again.
We're ready to give them the performance they deserve.
It's a beautiful day. We turn up. It's nice. We're playing under Slipknot on the main stage. It's just coming up to changeover. Our tour manager comes in the dressing room and said, "Just got word there's a storm coming." Okay.
Not just a little storm, it was a storm that was so big it was pulling the video walls off the backdrops of the stage.
Our gear had been set up, it got completely drenched, and the storm lasted into about half an hour into when our set was supposed to be. Obviously, by this time our set's been cancelled. Yeah. Okay, we're not gonna play, we might as well go and eat the catering, because the catering at Copenhagen is really good. So we went and had dinner. We packed up our stuff, got in the shuttle to go back to the hotel. It is beautiful blue sky.
And bands started playing. As we're leaving, bands just started playing.
We were the only band affected in the entire weekend.
It was awesome.
So that was our Copenhagen experience. We put both of them into number 3 because of the extreme misfortune.
Number 2, what are we going to go for number 2?
Many years ago, we played in a town called Lucerne in Switzerland with Bring Me the Horizon. I remember we woke up on the tour bus and it was just, we're surrounded by beautiful mountains.
Yeah,
so
if you imagine Switzerland, it looked like that. A picturesque town, beautiful, massive mountains.
So naturally, we see the mountains and the consensus is between us and Bring Me the Horizon, let's go and try and walk up to the top of the mountain. So we started going and we were climbing up, and it's taken a lot of the day. I think we've woken up pretty late because around that time we would be going to bed at 7 a.m. We were up all night drinking. I think eventually it was just me, my brother, the drummer of Bring Me, Matt, and singer Ollie. And we're getting to the point where it's snow on the ground. We realised, okay, there's no way we're going to make the show. I think we were young and dumb. And we got picked, we hitched a ride with a lorry driver.
So I'm at the venue, no idea where anyone is. Like the rest of the Bring Me are like, where is the band? You can't, no one was texting anyone to let anyone know what was going on.
This guy picks us up and he takes us to his house, and he's just like in the mountains. He's got this like sort of cabin with his wife and his kids, and they've got a fire going, and they give us some food and drink, and they didn't speak any English. So we're like trying to communicate, and we got a gig down there, and eventually he drove us back down. So meanwhile, our bass player Ali had flown home from the tour, left the tour because it was his girlfriend's birthday.
Yeah, you heard that right.
He's a romantic.
So while he's gone, the day before, he had promised to V-Man, who is now the bass player of Slipknot, who was our guitar tech at the time, he'd promised that V-Man had promised to Ali that he knew the set. He didn't. We'd done it on a boat in Paris the night before. It was a train wreck. So while these guys were up there, we were on tour with a band called Blessed by a Broken Heart as well. And the drummer, De Bird, said that he would play bass for one of the songs.
Just skipping over the fact he's called De Bird.
De Bird, yeah. De Bird played bass, and while they were on the mountain, I was playing the drums, trying to teach him this song called Hunt Them Down.
I think it was Lee from Bring Me played bass, V-Man from now Slipknot played bass.
Curtis played the song as well?
De Bird. It was a star-studded cast, yeah. But I can't tell you how bad the performance was.
Yeah, and
there was probably, believe it or not, about 60 people at the show. Number 1, Prince Edward Island.
Absolute shocker.
In sort of this might be wrong, but I think it's like northeastern Canada. So we've done like a 6-week tour of the US, and our booking agent, who is a dear friend of ours, he suggested that we do some lesser known towns in Canada. We played this like town hall. I don't know how many people are in this town. I mean, it's probably like...
They look like a fishing village.
Population 1,500. I think there was like... There was probably 12 people at the show, something like that. But we're at the end.
That's generous.
We're at the end of a long, long tour. It's a community hall, you know. We're playing on like a gym floor sort of thing. We were like, we have to get alcohol. Yeah. To get through this.
And we got absolute. I remember sitting in the van outside the venue and just being like, so drunk,
homesick, and broke, and wondering why we were there, and. We got criticised for disrespecting the scene there, because like there was a kitchen at the side of the stage, and Tom, my brother, was like running around the kitchen playing the songs. A lot of the set was sat cross-legged. Like the guys were like sat on the cab, sat on the floor playing.
Sat on your kick drum.
And it's worth pointing out, this is like 4 or 5 albums in.
Yeah.
It's not like we're like new to this. We've been doing this for years.
It could have been a breaking point. It could have been this is crazy.
But it wasn't.
No. We enjoyed it so much we kept going, and we're still here. Thanks for coming on this journey through the top 5 worst Architect shows.
Sorry if you were at any of the shows.
It's not you, it's us.
No, they were bad.
It's you.
They were a bad audience. You were terrible audiences. We won't be back.